Hey, what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the Talk of Champions. Happy to be here. Happy to be talking Alabama football with you. And it's a real pleasure being in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Today, we're going to talk about a variety of topics concerning Alabama football. I know you guys are eager to hear about Jerome Ford. You guys want to talk about Christian Harris. You guys want to talk about the Nuggets from Alabama's second scrimmage. We're going to do that. We're going to do it right now. And then I'm going to take your calls, 205-686-3604. Hey, when you call in, it's your show. Let's talk what you want to talk about right here on the Talk of Champions. And remember, all the coverage is back at BamaInsider.com. All right, you guys call. Be a part of the show, but be a part of the Talk of Champions on BamaInsider.com, delivering daily nuggets, daily scoop, everything you want back at BamaInsider.com. All right. Yeah, and Bama Boy, just as you said, just 2 weeks into the first game against Duke. It's finally here. And let's, first of all, get to Nick Saban and pipe in his opening comments. I'm sure you guys saw, but let's go through it again, go through it slow, and get this show on the road. Here's Nick Saban talking about the opening remarks from Alabama's second scrimmage.
Well, the first thing that you ask is the thing that I asked the players after the last scrimmage and challenged them to do is, how much will you improve from the last scrimmage to this scrimmage? So that's going to happen by what you invest, what you commit to doing, every day in practice, so you're focused on what's happening right now, so that you can make that improvement. So I would say we had a significant number of guys that, made strides. We're better in this game, a lot less anxiety, especially for the young players, but not where we want to be. I think we're still not tackling well on defense, too many missed tackles, too many guys breaking down, not aggressive enough, not enough cleanup, give up a few too many big plays. On offense, last week we were really good in terms of turnovers and taking care of the ball. Today we had the ball on the ground more than we'd like. Threw a couple picks, which we got to not do, so we got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. So, when you're playing against each other, if this guy's doing good, then that guy's playing against him who's still on your team may not be doing so good. So it really is hard to evaluate the overall consistency of performance until you watch the film. Now, the scrimmage format today was a little bit different. We played the first, I think, like 55 or 56 plays exactly like a game. Had the headsets, had the coaches in the box, it's going to be in the box, had the coaches on the sidelines, it's going to be on the sidelines. Used the communication for offense, defense, special teams. So we got, when I say 60 plays, I'm talking about total. So a little over 25 for both first teams. First team played against the second team offense. First team defense played against second team offense. First team offense played against second team defense. And then we did some situational stuff.
All right, that was Nick Saban, and those were his opening remarks. Thanks everybody for joining us. I appreciate you guys checking in right here to the Talk of Champions. I'll come in loud and clear. The audio okay? I know some of these initial shows, I just want to make sure that the coverage and the quality is very good for you. I'm trying to provide a very good product for you. So I know the biggest news from today, and a lot of the items you were concerned about was revolved around Jerome Ford. He's a running back, redshirt freshman, very talented, and with Trey Sanders going out and being out indefinitely for the 2019 season, Jerome Ford, he's an important piece to this puzzle. Sure, you have Najee Harris, you have Brian Robinson, but Jerome Ford went down with the injury today. And there was some various reports, and it's always safe to listen to what Saban has to say. Here's Saban talking about Jerome Ford, and here's the exact update from Saban. Let me get that for you right now.
One practice every afternoon, and we won't be able to flip the schedule around so we can practice some at night and try to stay out of the heat. Jerome Ford is probably the only guy that got any kind of injury today that I would say he may be out for a week. He got an ankle sprain. We don't think it's all that bad, but Doc thinks it'll be a week. Did an MRI on it and thinks he's okay. We think DJ Dale will be back to practice. He's already practiced some. We didn't let him scrimmage today. LeBrian Ray has already practiced. We didn't let him scrimmage today. Miller Forstall has been practicing. We didn't let him scrimmage today. So, Matt Womack has been practicing. We didn't let him scrimmage today. So we just, trying to get our team, sort of healthy. I think now was.
All right, as Saban said, being healthy, obviously the key component to the entire season. And he talked about 4 defensive players being out. So who are the defensive players that are out that didn't participate today in the second scrimmage? Well, if you're reading between the numbers and kind of piecing things together, it's Anthony Jennings, Terrell Lewis, DJ Dell, and LeBron Ray. Now, the good news is for Alabama fans is that DJ Dell back at practice on Friday along with LeBron Ray. So big additions to the defensive line. I mean, and we talked about the freshman before. What DJ Dell is doing at Alabama is very incredible, just being that he's a freshman. But I think a lot of this is because he arrived in December of 2018. So think about it. He's been here December and checked in early. He went through all of springtime, did a great job during A-Day, and then did a great job during the summertime, and now he's looking like a start at the defensive tackle position. That's very important because Alabama loses Quentin Williams, right, which would probably be the biggest loss from the 2018 season, I think, with guys exiting out early. LeBron Ray, I think, is going to play a pivotal role with the defense. And then Saban said today, and he talked about the pass rush, and he said this, and this is a very key component. He said that Raekwon Davis has improved in his pass rush, and I think that is very, very important. Another important piece of news that came out today is that Christian Harris, who's a true freshman at Alabama, repping with the first-team defense. Here's Saban talking about Christian Harris. Wow, I think that's a fantastic story. Christian Harris repping with the first-team defense right away. And I think, my biggest question about him is because he just arrived this summer. Big kid, he's jacked, but could he get the terminology down? And Saban talked about this today. I thought it was a good point. Here's Saban talking about Christian Harris. Let me get that for you guys.
He did a good job. I like to watch the film. He's a football player. It's important to him. He runs and hits people. Is he where he needs to be in terms of what to do, how to do it, why it's important to do it that way? But when we've had guys like this in the past, whether it was C.J. Mosley playing, who was a freshman, Hightower playing, who was a freshman, Rolando McClain playing, who was a freshman, we just put them in there and play them. And they got to get some on-the-job training. And there's still competition at that position, but he's a guy that has made plays throughout fall camp so far that we're hopeful we'll be able to continue to improve and develop and play like a starter.
How important is that?
Grammarly does more than.
How important is that Saban has that confidence in Christian Harris, to bring him up and have him play in that second scrimmage? I think that just says a lot about Christian Harris and a lot about him just coming in the summertime. Now, I also wanted to talk to you about the quarterback situation. Now, there's no quarterback controversy going into the 2019 season, thank goodness. You have Tua Tagovailoa coming back, who's looked absolutely polished the entire fall camp. I mean, he's looked great. No small injuries. I mean, he's just looked crisp the entire time. But the biggest question is behind him. It's a grind. The season's a grind, and these guys are going to get nicked up from time to time. So I was curious about that backup, for Tua. Is that going to be Mac Jones? And I had been asking that question at the beginning of fall camp, and I think Saban has answered that completely. And that's going to be Mac Jones. And in fact, he said that he's way out in front of the competition, Talia and Paul Tyson, and that's good to know because Mac Jones, stepping up in that number 2 quarterback situation, I think that's very important. Alabama has to be able to depend on him the entire season. And if his number is called, he has to come in and lead a very dangerous offense. So here's Nick Saban talking about the quarterbacks. And I thought it was a good soundbite. So let me bring that up for you.
Well, Mac is way ahead of the other guys. I mean, he's been here in the program for a couple of years. He knows the offense. He's really smart. He makes good decisions for the most part. The big thing we've been trying to get him to do is, when he doesn't make a good play, don't hang on to it. Go to the next play. And And he's done a much better job of that, and he's been very productive in both scrimmages that we've had. I mean, he really has. So he got some opportunities with the first team today. We gave him some opportunities last week with the first team. We're happy with Tua's performance to this point, and I think offensively we're good. We got more guys that have more experience. And the only position that we don't have a lot of experience as is really tight end. Every other position that you point to, there's guys that have a significant amount of playing time, whether they were starters or not. And we have a little bit more age, a little bit more maturity. Defense, we got a lot more younger guys that have to grow up and learn how to play and, understand that we have 10 guys do what they're supposed to do. One guy doesn't, the other team makes a play. Somebody doesn't get covered, somebody's not in the right gap, whatever it is. So if you're going to play together on defense, team defense is really important to being successful. And I think that we like these guys, and I think they're going to develop and be able to contribute to our team. And I think it's going to be really important to the success of our team that they do that.
All right, that was Saban talking about the quarterback as well as the tight end position. I'm curious to see the tight end position as well, because you do have Miller Forrestall coming in. And by the way, I'm going to turn on the line. So if you guys want to call in, feel free to call in. I'll take your calls 205-686-3604. I think the tight end position is a concerning area for me, just because you're losing Irv Smith, and he's probably going to be another big loss from the offensive side from last season. You do have Miller Forrestall coming back. And he's looked very good. I know he was injured. He had a foot injury during the summertime, but he's looked very good since his return. We saw him this week, looked crisp coming in and out of his routes. I think he provides some good veteran leadership at that position, and behind him, I guess that's up for grabs, right? Is it going to be Cameron Latou, who recently switched from outside linebacker to tight end? Is it going to be Giles Amos? Giles Amos, a walk-on candidate who's looked extremely good this fall camp. Catches the football, is a big dude. I really like what I've seen from him. Major Tennyson, he was the one repping with the ones when Miller Forrestall was out. But a guy I really, really liked has been Jahlil Billingsley. Billingsley has looked excellent this fall, and I think the thing with Billingsley that I'd like to see is I think he's at 225 pounds. I'd like to see him get to probably 235 pounds. I think he could still keep that speed and still be dynamic at 235 pounds. So Jahlil Billingsley definitely impressed me, and I think overall he's probably going to be the guy that is the guy at the tight end position. I don't know if that'll be this season. I think he'll play this season, but Jahlil Billingsley, definitely a guy to keep tabs on. Call-in line is open, 205-686-3604. Call in. It's your show. Want to talk with you. Want to talk Alabama Crimson Tide football. Also want to talk some Nuggets right now. And these are some Nuggets that came in today from Alabama's second scrimmage. And let me actually do this via slideshow. So we already talked about Jerome Ford. There's Jerome Ford on the left. That's Paul Tyson, the young freshman, on the right. Jerome Ford, ankle injury. Looks like he's just going to be out a week. We talked about Christian Harris. Talented freshman who saw time with the first team today. Let me get his height and weight. Christian Harris is 6'2", 244. And Alabama was dropping clips of him this summertime in the weight room. Absolutely jacked. Heard that it wasn't Tua's best day today, but he still was Tua, right? And there was a funny clip at the end of the segment when, Saban's talking about Tua, but, whether he's under center more this year, more play action pass, if he's out of shotgun, I think it's clear that, this is the most talented quarterback returning in college football along with Trevor Lawrence, right? Those two are the headliners for the college football season, and him with this arsenal of wide receivers is going to be extremely incredible to watch. And I think when talking and listening to Steve Sarkisian, he mentioned that this offense is going to be try to be more prolific from last season. We got our first call coming in. All right, thanks for calling. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Where are you calling from, and who am I on the line with?
This is Tom, and I'm calling from Aliceville.
All right, hello, Tom. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you? This is good.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's a great avenue for Alabama Crimson Tide football
Yeah,
fans to
man,
come
scrimmage or game or something like this.
yeah.
Everybody wants to get on the phone and talk about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we want to be able to provide that venue, and we do it on a
Yes.
professional level. I mean, we're not reporting from the couch. I'm at the practices, I'm at the games, and I want to hear
Yeah,
from I
your
want to hear from you.
information.
Yeah. So
Your information has been spot on all counts. I love it.
absolutely. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, what I want to say is when I watched Coach Saban in the press conference today, something's going on with him and this team. He's reaching way back in the archives and bringing up stuff that he's talked about before on other teams, and he's almost like nervous about what he is seeing on the field, and to the tune of I think that this team is really good, and it's kind of got him dizzy.
It's interesting because I think at times he tries to send the message to his team, and he has a Saban rant, but he hasn't really had that.
He hasn't come up with anything. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
The thing that he's complaining about is the tight end position. I mean, that's a bit of a worry, but I mean, come on, look at this receiving core that you have returning. So, and then I think we've talked about it before, Tom, the offensive line that's returning, that's coming together.
Ooh,
I mean,
scary,
right? On the outside, let's talk about that, right? You have Jedrick Wills, all right? Then you have, working from my right, so then you have Emil Ekiyor, who's looked fantastic. You want to talk about someone who keeps his pad level low, gets after it, has a motor? Emil Ekiyor. I hope they keep him on the field. At center, today they had Chris Owens, but they've been swapping him out with Landon Dickerson, who's done a great job. Then you also have 6'7", 360, Evan Neal, who has been phenomenal, and then Alex Leatherwood. Talk about that offensive line. I mean, it's going to be fantastic to watch that unit in front of Tua.
Well, he is really his body language, his eyes, and then his verbiage. Mm-hmm. It's not matching up. It's almost like I'm hunting for something that I can say, but there's nothing I can say.
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, that's just my take on the press conference, and I just think this is very interesting where he is with this team right now. I'll let somebody else call in. I enjoy the show. Thanks for providing the service.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you very much for calling in.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right. First caller. That was good. Call in. It's your show. 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Let's talk some Alabama football. And I think the offensive line, just as I was talking with Tom about, is going to be phenomenal. Whether they put Landon Dickerson in at center, and I've put it on highlights on our YouTube channel of Landon. I mean, he's looked great. Big kid. Saban seems to really like Landon Dickerson, and I think Saban really likes Emil Ekiyor. And if you're an offensive line coach, I'd love for you to call in and let's talk Emil Ekiyor because, let me pull up his height and weight just so I can get it right. I mean, Emil Ekiyor, 6'3", 330 pounds. I mean, he's a big dude. And Alabama's still going to be missing Deontay Brown for those first four games, and he's looked great too. I mean, this offensive line is going to be nasty. We haven't even talked about Matt Womack, right? I mean, Matt Womack's still there. Got another call coming in. All right, hello, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson.
Hey, am I on the air?
Yeah, you're on the air, man. Go ahead.
Fuck.
Okay. Nice. So that happens, people call in, they're immature, and we move right for it. We move right past it. So call-in line is still open. Be an adult when you call through, 205-686-3604. As we're talking about on just before that, the offensive line, I mean, has been fantastic, and I'm really excited to see what's in store for that unit going forward. Let's talk a little bit more about, we talked about Mac Jones, who did well. Devontae Smith, heard he caught 2 touchdowns today, which was fantastic. I mean, we've talked about him before, Devontae Smith, a.k.a. Smitty. That he's just part of that receiving unit that is the best in the country, right? Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle. It looks like he's going up for a touchdown over Patrick Surtain. I mean, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, those are future NFL guys playing against each other. Jalen Waddle, another guy. And this was the nugget that I received on Jalen Waddle, that he basically never came off the entire field today. I mean, if you were at the scrimmage, if you were in Tuscaloosa today, it was like 95. So I can't even imagine what the feels like was. And put on the fact that these dudes are in pads and Jalen Waddle is still doing his thing. How about this? Is Jalen Waddle the most dangerous player in all of college football? Is it safe to say that? We'd love to see him get as many touches as possible. I know nobody's going to punt to him, right? But I think it's safe to say that Jalen Waddle, definitely one of the most dangerous, if not the dangerous player in the country. All right, looks like I'm going to open the call line again, 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Definitely like to catch up with you. You know what? Regarding that game against Duke, there hasn't even been a line dropped out by Vegas Insider yet. I'm curious to see what Vegas puts on that game. I think OddsShark has it 52-17. I mean, is Duke really going to put up 17 points on Alabama? I mean, I definitely do read the chat, by the way. So, the chat's on my screen. So if you don't want to call in, you could post a message on the chat. So I'm definitely checking out the chat. But like I was saying, there hasn't been any points set on that game with Alabama and Duke. If you look at the spreads for the entire season, Alabama is a double-digit favorite over everybody. I mean, I think that'd be a good topic for another time. I think one of the games that's kind of circled on everyone's calendar was when Alabama takes on Texas A&M and when Alabama takes on South Carolina. And I think that's that week 3 game. And I think Alabama's an 18-point favorite over South Carolina and a 14-point favorite over Texas A&M. And I think that, if I remember correctly, Clemson is a 17-point favorite over Texas A&M. So those are games that, really jump out. I mean, I think Alabama, the later part of their schedule is definitely more interesting from the beginning part of the season, right? I'm not really excited about that front end schedule. Duke, New Mexico State, South Carolina, Southern Miss, Ole Miss. It's not really exciting, right? 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Want to catch up with you about this team. We'll go back to talking about some of these players, and these are some images that Alabama sent in this afternoon. How about this young man, Justin Ebogbe, right? My goodness. Alabama freshman just continue to rise up. This young man was actually repping with the first team defense today at end. So today you had Raekwon Davis at end, you had Justin Ebogbe, and then Fendarian Mathis at the defensive tackle position. That's how they have been rapping and repping all week. So we will skip that call. And just as I was saying about Justin Ebogbe, I mean, I think he's one of those freshmen, especially with the defensive lineman, that is probably going to get some playing time along with DJ Dell. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what other freshmen get to play, if any, out of this class of 2019, because you have Stephon Wynn's now injured. So you have, and he's a redshirt freshman entering this season. He should be back, by the way. You also have Ismail Sopsher, Braylon Ingram, Byron Young. And like I've talked about before, those guys reported to camp. And they've been doing a great job this week. But the first week they got here, I think the heat had caught up with those guys. So Justin Ebogbe and DJ Dell definitely going to play during the 2019 season. Here's Eddie Smith. We got actually another call. Let's see. My bad. Here's Eddie Smith on the screen right here. Looks like he scored, or rather had an interception today. Saban did say that there was a couple picks today. I actually want to play some highlights now from Alabama's scrimmage. Let's see if we can bring some of that up. I wanted to show you guys some linebacker highlights, because I got some highlights today of Christian Harris. I think they're coming up here in just a second. I think there we go. That's Christian Harris, number 8. Big dude, huh? Almost 250 pounds. Moves very well. Behind him, Shane Lee. He's 250 pounds. We've talked about him. I mean, looks great. I like the depth of this younger group. And then here's Jalen Moody right here, another guy that should see playing time this year. Saban said that the position hasn't been filled. I thought Ali Cajo would maybe be that linebacker with that nickel formation. Jalen Moody again. Really like him. Played a lot of special teams last year. Ali Cajo. I mean, look at him. Moves like a safety almost. I think you put him out in that nickel formation, it could be very interesting to see what happens with Moody. Here are the quarterbacks. This was today. All right, let me switch back. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, that inside linebacker position to see what happens. But it looks like, Christian Harris, was repping with the first team today. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. Call-in line is open. I want to hear from you. And, just a couple. This is the last Saturday, actually, without college football, thank goodness. So, all right, Big Buck asks, should there be concerns for Tua? I'm worried about Clemson still haunting him. I don't know. I mean, every time we hear from Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, the dude is so relaxed, and it looks like it is. Hey, Mike from Kentucky. You need no introduction. Thanks for calling. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Kyle. How have you been lately? Good.
Oh yeah, I've been great. I'm really thankful to be back in the 2019 season, and looking forward to talking with football. What's on your mind, Mike?
Well, it feels like Christmas coming, don't it?
Absolutely.
Season is upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the competition must be fierce. I wish I was down there in Alabama where I could go see some live practices. I get a taste or two off of YouTube once in a while. I really like Ali Cajo's footwork.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
At linebacker, he just moves like a Broadway dancer. That kid's feet are just phenomenally smooth. He looks really athletic. I heard you mention that Anthony Jennings was out for the scrimmage. I hope he's not down.
No, so with some of these upperclassmen, sometimes they just they don't play him to prevent a possible injury. And some of these guys that are already at that level, at that upperclassman level, you'll see them off to the side for practice or for scrimmage. So Jennings is going to be a key component. So I don't think anything's really wrong with him. I think they're probably just keeping him out and having some of these younger guys get reps today.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really promising talent coming up. It's just going to be an exciting year for Bama for sure.
Are there any, Mike, let me ask you this. When you look at this team overall, I mean, every single area, every single facet of this team jacked, right? I mean, every area. Is there an area of concern when you look at this team? Be honest. Is there any sort of concern you have when you look at this year's roster?
To tell you the truth, that would be a no for me, and I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Forstall started against Florida State a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, he was the first casualty of the season on that crazy year where we were like down to the tuba player in the band at middle linebacker. Of course, Alabama's tuba player is the Gatorade tuba player of the year.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
I'm really not. I don't see a glaring weakness at all. I'm even optimistic about the kicking game this year.
Yeah, and I guess that's one thing that we haven't talked about. But it looks like Will Reichard is going to be the guy. And I think that from what I heard today, Skylar DeLong had a great day punting wise. So maybe the special teams woes can be, left last year.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I really felt bad for Skylar last year. Just the bright lights just got to him a little bit. He's a year older and a year more settled in. I mean, he can boom them 50 yards. He's just got to do it on game day.
Absolutely. And it's great to hear from you though, Mike. I appreciate the call in. Will you please call in next time? You're always welcome to call. I got your number, saved. So every time you call, we don't even have to ask. You're just Mike from Kentucky. Come on in.
Cool. All right, man. I'm just glad that Anthony Jennings was just held out for precautionary reasons because I think he's going to be an absolute force on the outside this year.
Yeah, I think so too. And Saban talked about that, and he mentioned the improved play from Raekwon Davis. So if you have, Davis, who it's crazy that he only had one quarterback sack last year. It's just unbelievable to think about that.
Can I ask one more question? Because I really touted this kid last year coming in as a freshman. Has Ishmael Sopsher, shown anything? I know you got on campus late, and you're going to be down on the depth chart when that happens. But have you heard any news one way or the other about him?
Yeah, I mean, if you go through our videos right here on YouTube, I've organized a couple of videos of the defensive line. The first week for Sopsher, he looked completely out of shape. Him and Byron Young had their hands on their hips. It's been so hot in Tuscaloosa. It's been unbelievable. Way hotter than this year, the year before. It's been very hot. But this second week, Ismail Sopsher has really come a long way. And he's I don't know how much he'll play. He might have to drop down. He's about 340 pounds right now. Massive man. If they can maybe get him down, he can start working with Scott Cochran. I think by next year you'll see a completely different player. But I think everything's going well for Ismail. I think he just got to get acclimated to college football, and it might take him a little bit of time.
Yeah, he's an up and comer for the future for sure. I was really impressed with his high school film. But that's high school ball, too.
That's
so,
true.
It's a whole different world. All right, Kyle, I'm going to let you go and let somebody else get on, man. Roll Tide to you, brother.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. That was Mike in Kentucky. Always welcome to call. There's, we got a group of callers who call in, and I appreciate it, call in from all over. There was a string where last year we get callers from Hawaii, and I actually had to push the show to the evening time because I was doing the show and I was getting a Hawaiian following, but I was doing the show in the morning, and none of our Hawaiian fans were up, so I moved it to the evening, and it's actually worked out better for everybody. So I would love for some of our Hawaiian fans to call in to talk about Talia. And I think Talia has done a great job this season, and I think the younger quarterbacks, they've impressed me, and I have Talia out in front of Paul Tyson. There's a couple differences why I have Talia a little bit ahead of him, and I think it comes with just the quickness that Talia gets the football out. But I think the power ball is better thrown by Paul Tyson. And plus, Paul Tyson's a big dude, but I think Talia right now, if there was a game situation, I would think that Alabama would go to Talia before they would go to Paul, if that makes sense. So, call-in line is open, 205-686-3604. Call in. Definitely would like to catch up with you and talk about Alabama Crimson Tide football. As you know, Crimson Tide had their second scrimmage of this fall camp, and that'll be their last scrimmage. In just a couple of weeks, we got, Alabama and Duke. It's finally here. The 2019 football season. Seems like it took a long time to get here. And then after that, check this out. Alabama will play Duke, right? And the first home game, they'll play New Mexico State. Do you know where I went to college? I went to New Mexico State. So it's crazy to see New Mexico State, my Aggies, coming up to play at Bryant-Denny Stadium. If you know anything about the Aggies, they just reached their first bowl game. That was 2 seasons ago for the first time in 57 years. So excited to see them come up. I mean, it's probably going to be pretty ugly for those guys, but we'll be happy to wrap with some administration who I know from New Mexico State. Hey, call-in line is open, 205-686-3604. We'll be happy to take your call. Call in. It's your show. We can talk Alabama football. Ask me about the quarterbacks, the running backs. You want to talk about the O-line. You want to talk about the secondary. We haven't talked about the secondary at all. And it's kind of interesting that they moved Josh Jobe to that corner spot. And you got Trayvon Diggs on the other side. Move Patrick Surtain to that nickel spot. And then in the backfield, you have Jared Maiden and Xavier McKinney. I mean, that is an incredible secondary. And I think one player that I'm really excited about is Josh Jobe. And I think we saw a lot of progression from him during that national title game when he got thrown in and going against some very talented wide receivers from Clemson. Let me ask you this. In the college football spectrum, right, what other teams other than Clemson do you feel could challenge Alabama this season? And I'll give you mine right now. And I think that they're going to be extremely dangerous this year. And I think that is Georgia. I think Georgia is pretty much a bad moon rising. I think they have similar talent to Alabama. I think they're mad. No one's talking about them. And sometimes when no one's talking about you, that's the best time to rise up, right? What they've dealt with against Alabama in the SEC championship and then the season before that in the title game, that's a lot of time on the mind, right? That Alabama stopped them. And then the way their season ended against Texas, I think that Georgia is a team that everybody should be looking out for. And I think they're a team that could make a serious run at the national championship. And I think that this could potentially happen, right? When you're looking at the teams vying for a spot, hypothetically, what if Alabama is undefeated? What if Georgia is undefeated? They meet in the SEC championship game. Will the loser of that game really not make the college football playoffs? I think they will, which would mean that Georgia would be on one side, theoretically, and Alabama would be on the other side. And let's be honest, with Clemson's schedule, they're probably going to be on one of those sides of the bracket as well. Team number 4 comes in. Is that going to be Ohio State? Is it going to be Michigan, Notre Dame? Who's it going to be? Maybe it doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, maybe Alabama and Georgia could meet again in the national title game. Hey, how's it going? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, my name is Zach, and I was going to ask you about the playoff.
Yeah, what's up, Zach? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I mean, me and my girlfriend are really into the football, you know?
All right, that didn't seem like a good call. Sometimes you got to just take those calls and, kind of exit them out. Call-in line is still open, 205-686-3604. And like I was saying, I think there's a good opportunity and a good possibility, rather, that Alabama and Georgia could meet up in the college football championship once again. And think about this: they could potentially meet in the SEC championship. Then they can meet in the championship game, and then next year they play in week 3 of the season. So you could get a lot of Georgia and Alabama this coming season into next season. Hey, call line is still open, 205-686-3604. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear about your take on this team. And maybe this team is just, maybe no one's going to test this team. I don't know. I mean, so dominant at every single position, just completely loaded on both sides of the football. I mean, is there a glaring weakness? We've talked about the tight end position. Maybe the inside linebacker position. I mean, with a freshman starting, I'm just I'm curious to see if you think that there's any area on this team that you're a little bit concerned about, right? But it's been good. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. It's good to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed the setup. I hope the audio was coming in. Like to get a couple more callers calling in. So maybe we'll get to that point as we get closer to the season. But feel free to call in. You can also call in and you can leave me a voicemail, 205-686-3604, and I will play it on the show. So that's another way to get your voice on BamaInsider.com, 205-686-3604. But overall, I'm excited to be here, excited to be back, excited to be talking Alabama Crimson Tide football. For more coverage, head on over to the website. Got tons of observations, got tons of stories, video, everything you want, Alabama Crimson Tide football. And, of course, we would love the opportunity to earn your business as a premium subscriber to BamaInsider.com. As I always say at the end of the program, thank you to our veterans and thank you for the members in the United States military. We appreciate what you do for our great country. Be good people. Very easy to be good to everybody out there. So be a good person, and we'll take one more call. Here we go. All right, call back in. Want to get this call before we exit out. But like I say, be good people out there. Be good to each other, and I will be back probably next Saturday or Sunday. and we'll catch another call-in show, and then I'll probably do the call-in shows on Sunday evening during the season, just so we can, have the game, and then go past. All right, looks like we got a couple calls coming in now. All right. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Donnell. I'm calling from California.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing today, my man?
Oh, doing great, man. I'm so thankful to be in this spot. Talking Alabama football. It's a dream job. So what's up, man? What you want to talk about?
Yeah, so my question is, how do you feel about Alabama if Tua goes down?
Honestly, that is my biggest concern. I was hoping somebody would call and talk about that, because I think that could be the glaring weakness. Now, I know Saban has said that Mac Jones is coming along and he's doing really well. I heard he did great today. But there's a difference between performing an A-Day, which he's done great twice, and against a Mississippi State, against an LSU, right? And against an Auburn. So I am concerned about the backup quarterback position. We can hear it from Saban, and that makes you feel a little bit better, but I think Alabama fans have a right to be concerned, just because Tua went out, I don't even know how many times last year. And somebody's got to come in, right? I'm worried about that.
We don't have Jalen like we used to.
Exactly. And that was such a luxury for Alabama. Like, Alabama was so talent rich every single year, but at the quarterback position, they're like, all right, Tua out. All right, in steps Jalen, right? Jalen's a favorite to win the Heisman Trophy this year.
Right. Exactly.
It was crazy. But the thing that makes me feel better about that is the fact that Alabama has A, an amazing offensive line, and B, they have probably the most dangerous running back tandem in all of college football in Najee Harris and Brian Robinson.
Do you think Najee can put on a little bit more weight, or do you think he's actual solid size?
He's 230. That's crazy to think about.
I guess he just wears it good.
He does. He's jacked.
Okay.
And what's crazy is Brian Robinson is 230 pounds as well. So those guys together, I think deep down, and it would probably be interesting to talk to like a lot of these old-time Alabama football fans. Do these guys just want Alabama to just go back to pounding the rock? Now, you can't really do that because you have these receivers who just need the football. And
exactly.
I think in today's world, it's easier just to pass the football than it is to run. But, could you imagine if Najee Harris and Brian Robinson got 40 carries a game?
That would be pretty explosive, but I think that would minimize Tua effect of the game and everybody around. I don't think we'll be as good anymore just because of how many playmakers we do have.
It's crazy to think that, right? It's almost like you're too talent rich and you got to spread the ball out to all these guys.
Right.
It almost is like, it's a lot of mouths to feed. But how can it go wrong, honestly, for Steve Sarkisian? How?
He can't, though, honestly.
I take it you're not a college football coach. Do you think
no, sir.
you could call the Alabama's offense? Seriously. How complicated could it be, right? Tua, go to Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. All right, Jalen Waddle, run a slant. Najee out to the flats, break. The offense is ridiculous.
Yeah, the offense is really crazy now. I'm happy, though, honestly, because as long as we keep winning, I'm not going to complain at all.
Right. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling out from way out in Cali, man. I appreciate it. Call in next time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. You guys want to call? Call. I'll talk. You guys want to end the show? We'll end the show. But if you guys want to call in, call in. And like I said, when you call in, be respectful. Don't be dumb and call in and say something stupid, right? Come on, be an adult. I know it's tough sometimes for some of you, but call in and be good people. It's not that difficult. 205. All right, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling from?
Hey, Kyle, what's going on, man? I'm calling from Killeen, Texas.
All right, what's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, real time, man. I just heard the last part of what you guys said or whatever, and I think that if we ran the ball and we controlled the clock, it keeps our defense off the field. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we score, we had these 3 and outs, we got off the field, we'll score real quick, and think about how long our defense is on the field. So I think this year maybe if we have more of a balanced attack. We still have our playmakers, so they have to play as honest. But I think if we ran the ball a lot more, controlled the game, managed the game a lot more.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's a great point. And I think this is a very good call in because when you run the game, you control what? The time of possession. And when you run the ball, guess who you keep guess who you keep clean? Tua, right? And he's the most important part to this entire nucleus of the team, really, right? I mean, it's not all about one person. I don't buy that when you're talking with a player as good as Tua Tagovailoa. You got to keep him healthy.
Definitely.
So you give the ball you give the ball to Najee, you give the ball to Brian Robinson, and what that's going to do is it's going to create mismatches on the defense with your passing attack, right?
Definitely.
So I think
and you remember
go ahead. It's on you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, I was saying you remember when remember we used to run the ball and we used to just take people's will. You know what I'm saying? Late third, fourth quarter, our offensive line, wearing down the offenses and stuff. And I think I kind of missed that part of that Alabama football. And I thought when Saban said we were going back to the Alabama way, I thought that kind of going back toward that too, grinding it out, controlling the line of scrimmage, and like you saying that the 2 running backs and stuff. We're working with a monster, and I think it'll really help out our defense, especially, with the issues we're having with health, the injuries and stuff, linebacker. I just think it'll really help our defense a lot if we could do that.
No, I think it's a great call in, man. I agree with you, and I think what's going to happen this year is, and I think this was a very important part of Steve Sarkisian's message when he took the podium a couple weeks ago. He said this.
Yeah.
His philosophy starts with run first. And I think everyone in Alabama was like, oh, thank you. And what that's going to do, and he said this. He said that every year he's been at OC, they've had a back that's hit 1,000 yards. That's great, right?
Yes.
Let's get Najee his. Let's get Brian Robinson his. And that'll open up the passing attack. So I think the play action pass is going to be dominant. And I think the time of possession is very important, especially when you get to teams that are heavy hitters, right? You don't want to get in a scoring shootout with Clemson. You don't want that. You don't want that against Georgia.
We don't want
either.
that, nah.
No. You want to control the football.
No.
You want to keep Trevor Lawrence off the field. You want to keep Jake Fromm off the field, right?
Yep. Wear that defense down. And to Clemson's credit, too, they had 4 first-rounders on their D-line. You know what I mean? Just to their credit. But still, like you're saying, it just would I think it would just change the whole dynamic of our football, offense and defense, if we could get back to control the line of scrimmage, run the football. And yeah, man. That's all I have for you, man. I heard the last call, and I had to call and just kind of throw that in, like, hey, we got to help our defense. You know what I mean? We got to control the game. But I appreciate you, man. Great show, man, and always appreciate what you do, man. Roll Tide.
Hey, man, I got respect for 2-0, man. I've been out there, been to Converse Judson before. It's a great high school, a lot of talent in that area, man. So been out there many times.
Nice, yes.
Right, I'll catch you soon, man. See you.
Appreciate you, Kyle.
Late.
All right, Roll Tide, man.
All right, see? It's as easy as that. You can call in, turn on the call-in line. And you know what? The reason I ask where you guys are calling from is because I've lived a lot of places in this great country, and I probably know something about every place you're calling from. I used to live out in California. I'm from New Mexico. I lived in Florida before. I went to school in Iowa. We got a call coming in. All right, how's it going tonight? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Luke from Florida. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Luke? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, did you hear anything about who was playing center today? I know we heard that Dickerson has been in there as well as some other guys. I was curious if you heard anything about the scrimmage today.
Yeah, so good call. I appreciate the call. So starting at center today, from what I heard, was Chris Owens, which I thought was interesting. So you had Chris Owens, and I think Nick Saban is trying to figure out the best 5 for that, for Alabama's line. So you had Jedrick Wills at tackle, you had Emil Ikior, which is interesting, at guard, and then you had Chris Owens at center, and then at left guard you had Evan Neal, and then at left tackle you had Alex Leatherwood. So that's a pretty dominating offensive line, but I think the position battle right now is between Chris Owens and Landon Dickerson.
Okay, so Ekior, you think, is kind of out for the center position? They're going to definitely stick him in guard?
That's a good question. I think they're trying to find depth at that center position, which is a great thing because, Alabama had the luxury these last couple of years to rely on Bradley Bozeman, and then it just kind of swapped out to Ross Pierce-Baker. But this year they didn't really have a center with a lot of experience coming back, and neither do these guys coming back. So maybe they're just trying to figure that out. But I personally like Landon Dickerson there or Chris Owens, and I like Emil Ikior at the guard position. I think he's just an effective drive blocker. Plus, he's not as tall for Tua to throw over. That's what I'm kind of curious with Evan Neal, because he's honestly like a building out there. I mean, 6'7", 360. I just hope that doesn't create problems for Tua when he's looking downfield.
Now, speaking of Dickerson, I know Bozeman was 6'5", but when was the last time you saw a 6'6" center in the league? I mean, typically they're more 6'3", 6'4" guys.
No, I think you're right, and that's another thing. Like I just said, I mean, when's the last time you saw a 6'7" guard, right? 360 pounds. So this offensive line is massive, and even if you were to swap out Emil Ikior at that guard position, they're going to sub in, and it could be the starter. It could be Matt Womack, who's 6'7". So you could have two guards that are 6'7" for Alabama and a 6'6" center. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened here at Alabama, So that's a monster offensive line, and then you have the bookends, Alex Leatherwood and Jedrick Wills, who basically all Americans. So that line that Alabama is creating, and especially with the depth that they have, I mean, it's going to be an incredible offensive line unit.
So one more thing before I get off here. We heard that Jerome Ford might have gotten nicked up a little bit. You have any follow-up on that?
Yeah, so Saban said that it was an ankle and he's going to be out 1 week. So it's not a knee. It doesn't look like anything serious. So that's great news for the running back room because it's already thin with Trey Sanders being out indefinitely for the rest of the season.
Right on. I appreciate it, Kyle. It's a good show. I'll let you go.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the calling. All right, good calls. Hey, we'll keep it going. 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Would love to catch up with you. I mean, there's plenty to talk about. I mean, one guy on the offensive line unit that I've really been impressed with is Landon Dickerson. Came over from Florida State, a little bit banged up, but he's been doing a great job. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? You're on the line.
Oh, yeah, it's Q. How you doing,
Hey,
Kyle?
what's up, Q? How you doing, man? Good to hear from you.
I'm well. I just got up. I noticed that you had a live call.
Hey, man, turn down the audio you have in the background.
All right, gotcha. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, man. Q, come with it, man. What you got?
Yeah, not much from last week. I just I'm expecting us to do pretty well against Duke. I know we got a couple guys out. It's a big loss that we lost Josh McMillan, and I'm sorry that he had to go out like that. But next man up, I think Mikel Benton, him and he has a chance to become our next will linebacker. He has to step up, him or Jalen Moody. I'm expecting a little Ali KO in the mix as well. But Shane Lee, I feel like he has to wait his time. I feel like he's behind those three guys, if I'm not mistaken, and I feel like that's best. I feel like the next man up is Benton, and then it will be a fight between Moody and KO, depending on what position they play or which linebacker they favor as the will linebacker, compared to who's the next behind Dylan Moses as the Mike linebacker. So we have time to decide. I feel like that's going to be a key reason if we pass or fail this season. It's our linebackers again.
Yeah, Q, I think, it's important for this defense to figure out who's the best fit at that inside linebacker position. Today they went with freshman Christian Harris, and I don't think he's the starter against Duke. I think they're just trying to figure out, can this kid play in a game environment? Dylan Moses obviously out there is your anchor of the defense, the alpha male of the defense. In my opinion, I would still like to see Ali Cajo because I think he moves exceptionally well. And I think against teams who are going to pass the football, Duke will be one of them. You want someone who can transition into coverage, who can man up on someone that they might need to, depending on coverage situations. And I think Ali Cajo is that guy. He's bulked up year over year, probably around
Yes,
220.
that's true. But
I mean, so I
that's
think Cajo is your guy.
But with Cajo, it's like you remember we had 2 situations with him not knowing if he still wanted to be attending the university and playing football. So I think it all depends on his mindset and what is he willing to do, and how determined can he last all 16 games. Can he be reliable for us and stay healthy and stay in that same mindset to be able to compete at week in and week out and 100% committed to the process and focusing on being a better player and a better individual. That's my thing with Cajo.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Q. Hey, Q, I'm going to run to the next caller, but can you end it the way you usually do, please?
Always, man. Thank you. We just want to say God bless America. God bless Alabama football. God bless Coach Saban. God bless you, Kyle. God bless me. And God bless everybody in this great country. God bless you all, and have a great evening.
All right, Q. Call again, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, there's no better ending than my boy Q. And I was bringing it with the positivity. I love it. I love it. All right. You guys want to talk? Let's talk. 205-686-3604. It's good calling. And I think when you look at the inside linebacker position, I mean, the biggest news is from today is that Christian Harris starting with the first team D. Credit to him. You know, I thought that it would take much longer for him to come along. And maybe I'm thinking about this. Maybe Saban, to speed up the process, to speed up the learning curve of him just getting here in the summertime, he's playing him now to get him acclimated to the speed of a game situation, which was today. Saban said today was like a game simulation, right? They played 60 plays. So maybe that was the process with Saban adding Christian Harris to the mix. Either way, I mean, I think it's great to see another freshman step up for this Alabama defense. And it's crazy to think that Alabama could have 2 freshmen starting on the defensive side of the ball. And on the offensive side of the ball, you have a freshman in Evan Neal. Now, there's another freshman, and I've talked about him before, that I think would start at any other program in the country, and that is John Mechie. You guys seen John Mechie? Watch the highlights on YouTube. Just go watch the receiver highlights. John Mechie, have you guys seen him? Sound off in the comment box. He was the A-Day MVP. And I'm not just saying that because he's the A-Day MVP. Like, the way he runs his routes, I mean, he's incredible. In and out of his cuts, very quick, great hands, playmaker. Already did his thing in A-Day. And then, think about this. The last receiver to earn A-Day MVP honors, Jerry Jeudy, right? Got Jerry Jeudy, who is the MVP, and then a couple, 2 seasons later, is John Mechie. That's a good company to be around. I'll take another call if you guys want, 205-686-3604, and then I'll catch you guys next time right here on the Talk of Champions. Hope you guys have had a good time on the show. You know, we'll do it every single week. And like I said, you know, get your news, talk football with people who are not reporting from the couch. I'm in Tuscaloosa. I'm at practice. I'm at the games. I'm credentialed by Alabama football. So there's a difference in content quality from being professional and reporting from your couch. There's a big difference, and that's why I'm encouraging you. Come over to BamaInsider.com, see what our coverage is all about. Got Andrew Bone, you know, he jumps on here with the recruiting scoop, and he does a fantastic job. Tony Sukalis kills it. He's our team writer. I wear multiple hats, especially right here on the YouTube channel. So call in, and let's talk football. Take one more call, 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Call-in line is open. It's your show. Let me know what you want to talk about. All right. I think we do have, let me see. I was going to see if we have any voicemails that came in. All right. Well, if you guys want to end it here, that's cool with me. I think it's been a great show. We'll continue to aim to get better. We'll continue to aim to have top content quality right here on BamaInsider.com. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I hope you guys have a great Sunday with your family. I will be back next week, and I'll be on BamaInsider.com all week long talking Alabama football. Reporting from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This is the Talk of Champions right here on BamaInsider.com. Be good people. Thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you guys soon. Kyle Henderson. Until next time, talk soon.